A day after big speeches, war and diplomacy are both heating up. On ground zero, heavy fighting is still going on, even as Putin and Biden uttered their diametrically opposite worldviews. Well, in the next 1 minute, we will take you back to the battlefield. Starting with Kharkiv, Ukraine's northeast remains a flashpoint even a year after the war began. Here, Ukrainian officials claim 2 civilians were wounded in a Russian missile strike. The strike was reportedly directed at industrial facilities in Kharkiv, the biggest city in eastern Ukraine. Bakhmut is another flashpoint in this war. Here, Russia has claimed some advances. Ukraine has reported that around 18 towns and villages in the eastern region of Donetsk came under heavy fire overnight. With this, Russia says its troops have now made a 2.5-kilometer advance towards the city of Bakhmut. The Kremlin sees the city as the main staging post in capturing other towns further west in the Donetsk region. Ukrainian soldiers deployed in the region have expressed concerns over Russia recapturing Bakhmut. Earlier on Tuesday, as the Russian president was delivering his State of the Nation speech, at least one Russian rocket hit a busy street in the Ukrainian city of Kherson that killed at least 6 people. According to officials, 12 others were wounded in the attack. For more on this, we are joined now by our correspondent Anas Malik. He is in Kiev, the Ukrainian capital. Anas, we've seen those big speeches being made in the last couple of days. We also see the ground offensive, in a sense, being intensified. With 2 days left for the first anniversary of the Ukraine war, what can we really expect? Of course, we saw Russians celebrating in that packed stadium today. Hard to say what they were celebrating.
Well, it's celebrations on both the sides. Both the sides are catering to their audiences, Russian side doing to theirs and the US side doing to theirs or to their bloc. But by and large, what we're expecting here in Kyiv or in Ukraine, largely in the context of what we can expect in the next 48 hours are intensified attacks. We've already been seeing shelling being done in parts of Kherson and Kharkiv by Russia. That is what the Ukrainian Emergency Services says, and there is an imminent threat that this shelling might intensify. It will be and can be expanded by Russia to other parts of Ukraine, including where I am right now in the center of Kyiv. Earlier this morning, we heard air raid sirens blaring and blasting across the country. It was after a break for about 48 hours. The last time we had heard such air raid sirens going off was the day when President Biden was in Kyiv. So, by and large, the Ukrainian defense officials hint that Russia would be intensifying its attacks in the next 48 hours or so to what Russia says is to commemorate its invasion or its special military operation in Ukraine or against Ukraine. Neha?
Also, Anas, a lot of talk around those F-16s that Zelensky has been asking NATO for. In fact, when he was in London recently, he said, "Give us wings of freedom." Now, it does look like NATO nations are coming around to perhaps conceding that demand. How significant is that likely to be for Ukraine in this ongoing war, and how hopeful are they that those jets could actually be coming soon?
Hopefully, well, realistically, they are hopeful and optimistic, but on that is one side. The other side is that they know that this can take months, if not weeks, to materialize. The other problem is that when the invasion began last year, we were here reporting from here. What Russia was strategically doing was it was bombing airstrips, it was bombing airports. So even if Ukraine gets those fighter jets, which it has been talking about or requesting the international community, it would take some time for them to be airborne and to be operationalized, for the very reason that the infrastructure to operationalize them does not really exist at this point of time. It is unclear whether or not how the pilots as well, the people or the men required, whether they're here or not. So lots of ifs and buts there, but F-16s and jets have been a long-standing demand. In fact, we heard reports that Italy was considering on providing at least 5 jets, but that it would not be the first country to do so. But yesterday, when the Italian Prime Minister was visiting Kyiv, she said that it's the plan to provide jets has been put off, but with a big but, rather they would be supplementing it with armory and weapons. So in case, if at all, the NATO countries get along and get around with Ukrainian demand, then this can well be a game changer in this ongoing aggression or invasion of Russia against Ukraine, which Ukraine says that it has all the right to defend itself against. Neha?
Well, certainly the F-16s are expected to be a game changer. How soon they're going to be delivered is, of course, a different matter altogether. But Anas, thanks so much for getting us all those details from the Ukrainian capital.